Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Kate. I'm also known as the Daily Tarot Girl, and I am joined by the lovely Ethony Dawn today. So we have lots of special things planned for you. We're going to chat a little bit about tarot. If you have any questions for us about tarot, feel free to ask in the chat. And then we're going to be pulling cards for people if you would like a reading. So I just want to take a moment to introduce Ethony. So Ethony Dawn is a tarot reader, an author, a tarot teacher. She is the woman behind Tarot Summer School, of which I am a part of this year. And Ethony is the author of several tarot books and several tarot decks and oracle decks. So Ethony, you are a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, I'm just crazy, whatever.
I was looking, I was doing some research I wanted to see, okay, what books, I know you wrote your Tarot Court, and I thought, I feel like she has other books out there too. And you do, you have like 3 books now.
I do. So I have, one of them is forthcoming. So I've got them actually here this is my first baby. This is my first baby. Moira Rose will forever be an icon to me. So this was released in 2019 with Llewellyn, and this took a really long time. And for anyone who is like thinking about writing a book or is like worried that it's all been done, it's all been said, what I want to say to you about this bad boy was that this was not ever intended to be a book published with a publisher. So this started out as a freebie, like it was going to be free downloadable on my website. And then I asked, so I was like doing this, and then as I kept on writing for it, I was like, oh my gosh, so much is coming, because I wanted to talk about gender roles and like, how does it matter in today's society when we have kings, queens, knights, and pages? And so I looked at it through the lenses of steps of initiation in your life, like when you go from being a child into like a teenager. We all know that feeling of getting our driver's license for the first time and getting that freedom, right, and really moving into that knighthood. So I looked at it through that, like different, and every religion, every culture in the world has different milestones for when you're growing up and you're going into different aspects. So I did a lot of that, and then there was like stuff on gender. And then when I was talking about gender, I had one of my artists, Lena, do some artwork, and I just wanted to be line work for the PDF. And she actually sent me through the first 3 cards of the Bad Bitches Tarot. And I was like, uh-oh, this is going to be a tarot deck. So then I spoke at Newts, which is happening this weekend down in Portland. And I thought, no one's going to come. No one knows who I am. It's Sunday morning at 9 o'clock in the morning. Because everyone parties the Saturday night is usually when we have like the disco thing. And and then it was like packed, and little did I know that Barbara Moore from Llewellyn was in the front row, and she said to me, have you pitched this book to Llewellyn? And I was like, no, I didn't even think about it. And she said, you should. And then 72 hours later, I had a contract. So there are times when, like, I like to tell that story for people who might think, oh, it's that path is not for me, or I need to do it a specific way, because that never happened to me. Did I do the work? Like, absolutely. This took like 5 years to write, but like, don't think that you just have to go one way to get something out into the world, and just be open to it evolving and changing and becoming something else. So that was my first one. And then I've got this one, Tarot Grimoire, which came out last year. And this is for every card in the tarot deck, there is a spell and a tarot spread. So as you know, Kate, when you do a tarot reading for people, or especially when you have clients that you've been very fortunate enough to know over many years, they can sometimes get stuck in a pattern, or there's a real need to kind of take the reading outside of the reading space. Like, it needs to do more, it needs to percolate, it needs some action or inspiration. And so all the spells in here, you can either just like get them and do whatever you want, but it's also like, oh, if I'm stuck on, I know I've got something coming up in court, and I would really like some like, good karma on my side. You would maybe work with the justice there. And then my third book, I don't even have a cover yet because I just sent over the final. I've seen the way it's laid out. It is so pretty. It's called Become an Exceptional Tarot Reader, and that's out in December with Llewellyn, and it's my 400 plus page book of tarot card meanings and lessons, like numerology and astrology and all sorts of fun things in this book. And that was a massive labor of love. And that's just the stuff I did with Llewellyn, not on my own.
Oh my God, because I'm thinking you also have another book and deck called the Tarot Muses, right?
Yes, the Muses of Tarot. I don't have that one. I should, because it's so beautiful. The Muses of Tarot is another one. It is going to be going out of print really soon. And that was in 2000, and I can't remember, very early 20s, maybe 22. And that one, I'm really bummed I don't have it in front of me. But that came about because I was like, well, there's always like types of readings. So like we'll do readings for people who want to do love readings, which are one of my favorites to do. There are people who come to us for readings about grief. You know, they've lost someone, like so there could just be, it may not be the loss of a loved one. It could be the loss of a job they really invested in. Like I've definitely been heartbroken over jobs before, for sure, or a friendship, or so that space. And then there are the mediumship readings. They are the self-reflective readings. There are people who love to use the tarot for creation and creativity, and people who like problem solving. So the Muses of Tarot was me kind of sitting with that, going, is there a creative force? Because I'm very into Greek mythology. My pantheon is Greek. Is there this creative force behind these energies? You know, and I sat with it and I channeled in, like it literally came so quickly. I wrote like 6,000 words. I was up at like 2 a.m. And all of these muses came. And so each section of the book and each muse, you have like an altar card, there's an invocation card, there's the muse card, there's ways you can work with it. But it's basically like allowing you to set the intention for that reading. If you really want to, like, basically it's a very much a tarot 2 level, like an advanced level book and workbook. And that's not for everybody, but there's a lot of like 101 stuff out there. So I really wanted to have it be something that is like more advanced. So this was like a more advanced way of working with, like, challenge yourself to like try, you know, because everyone's like, well, you're like, oh, I'm an intuitive tarot reader. It's like, well, have you tried divining? Work with Divina, the divination muse, and set the intention, bring her in and actually stretch those muscles. So there's that one as well. So yeah.
Okay. So I have and I think that there is a lot of thirst out there for more advanced tarot stuff. I hear that all the time because there is so much like intro to tarot 101. So I think that there's a big need for kind of more advanced tarot teaching and stuff. So I have a nosy question for you.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Please.
It's not that juicy, but it's just my own curiosity. So because you're writing books, you're creating courses, you're teaching courses, you're doing actual readings and all that. Yes. What percentage of your day is doing actual readings versus writing versus course teaching? Like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so I am an absolute chaos goblin. Absolute chaos goblin. Anyone who knows me knows that I am a chaos goblin. So part of that is because like many women, especially in our generation, because I know we're quite close in age. I wasn't diagnosed with my ADHD and dyslexia at school at all. I masked really well. I had no like social problems, so it went completely undiagnosed. Even though like I couldn't and still can't spell for shit. If it's not phonetically correct, forget it. But now typing actually helped. Like now my memory has, because I've been like writing for so long. So I've always chased the dopamine, and a big part of that, without knowing my diagnosis, did wreak a little bit of havoc in my life. But I block my time out very well. So I don't always have my reading books open, because if I'm working on a larger project, like the book that needed to go over to Llewellyn, or Tarot Summer School, or my child is at summer holidays, and he's that's also, like, I'm a mum, so I've got things I need to do. I won't always have the books open, but if I do, I have specific days where I can take clients. But I'm very good at, I had to become very diligent at my time blocking and being very good at batch creating. So Mondays are a monster. Mondays are always a very heavy admin day for me. So I'm doing, my emails are always a mess, because that for me is no fun. I don't like it. There's no dopamine in it for me. So I need an assistant like yesterday. So Mondays are very admin, getting the rest of my week ready. I'm sure you do the same thing. It's like, if you have a blog post going out, I make sure I'm prepping Oracle Wednesday to go out. Like, I'm doing all of that stuff. And then Tuesdays, clients, if I'm doing that. If not, it will be recording, or I'll wake up in the morning and I will go to a cafe, or I'll block out 3 hours and go to the library, get out of the house so that I'm not, distracted, and go and do that. So there's quite a lot of like batching that I'll do, so that I'm not completely 100% behind, but I always miscalculate how long things are going to take. So I'm like, I can do that in like a week, and then it's like 4 weeks later I'm crying in a corner. So I'm not the best at that, but it's very much like, I say, to what we do is very solitary, unless you work in a store, which many of us have, but it's a very solitary kind of work. And so I say to anyone who does this work, fellow.
Oops. You cut out for a minute, so I missed the last few seconds of what you said.
Okay, sorry. I say to people that you have to treat this as if you were working for another person. You have to treat your tarot business as if you were clocking in at work, in a muggle job, and you were clocking out. Like, even if I like sometimes just working like 6 hours, just bang it out, and then especially if I've got to get my child after school. But you have to treat it with that level of respect and responsibility, unless you're having a sick day or whatever. Otherwise, you fail before you really get started.
Yeah, and I kind of like, you're such a social person and you're so chatty. I can't imagine you like sitting by yourself all day, like doing stuff. Like I'm a freaking weirdo, and I don't get a lot. Like, I can't work in a normal place because I'm a disaster. But but you're really outgoing. You seem like a very outgoing like person. So like, do you find that aspect kind of challenging, like working alone a lot?
Oh yeah, like ask anyone who sees me after work, and I'm like constantly just like, what happened in my day, but I also, like, I speak to my parents back home. Like, I speak to my dad like once or twice a week. We Skype, not Skype, we use Viber and WhatsApp. So I talk to like my family back home, I talk to my sisters back home, and my friends here. So I'm constantly like, I have to make sure I'm doing that. But I also do a lot of events. Like, we just had the Vancouver Pagan Awareness Day, where I had a stall. I'll be doing the Witches Flea Market in October. And that's the nice thing about going to a cafe or the library. I've been in this neighborhood since I moved here in 2013. So I know everyone at the post office, and everyone at the grocery store, and everyone at the cafe. Someone's like, hey, so I'll go in and have a chat. So it's that nice balance. But if I'm working on a book, or if I'm working on, if I'm doing any writing or any client work, I come into my Virgo rising and my Pisces moon, and I'm like, don't talk to me. I need the noise cancelling headphones. But then the rest of the time, I'm very much my Gemini sun. So I have a nice balance there, because it can get a little lonely doing it by yourself, but I see friends, so
Yeah, nice. Yeah. So it's something I kind of struggle with too, is like balancing out like the socializing and the more outgoing stuff with just, sitting at home working. I just want to take a moment to welcome everyone who's here. Hello, Freya, Ailey, S, Inger, Danica. Welcome, everyone. And there's a question from Ailey, I think. I'm just going to put it up on the screen. So this is for Ethony. Does your new upcoming book teach people how to read cards as groups instead of card by card? Does it teach you to read the story global yet local in terms of detail?
Yeah, so this is a great question. I'm going to say yes and nod to my to my improv background. Yes and so I wrote this book as, if you can come into this book and read it, the lessons, the sections are designed so that you can be an absolute newbie and come into it, or you could want to just like, I love doing foundation work, sometimes going right back to the beginning and doing things again. And so the way that I do it is it's built brick by brick, basically. So you're introduced to batches of cards and learn how they interact. But from what I'm hearing is like, how do you read the cards all together? How do you zoom out and kind of read those connections? And yes, I have a bunch of videos as well on my YouTube channel about how to read the narrative. And then, so what I do for that, I can give you a little tip here, is the way that I will read, and I would love to hear how you do this, Kate. I'd love to hear. So I don't flip over my cards one at a time when I'm reading for my clients. I design a specific tarot spread for my clients based on their need. I do that every single time. And then I will, shuffle. Part of my ritual is like shuffling, and then I will pull them all out. So the first thing that I do is I will look top down. I'll look at the whole thing and how it's all playing out. I'm looking at my reading desk, and there's cards out there, but there's not yet. So I'll look at the whole picture, and that'll give me a very quick kind of like, where are we going? What's the theme of this reading? But that has come from decades of practice. I got my first tarot deck at 15. I'm 42. So I've been reading for a really long time. And that did not come overnight. So I'll look at it overall. And then I will go into how each of the cards are answering each of the prompts how it's informing each of the prompts of the spread, and then I will overview it for my client. But I learn how to read in a divination practice. So when people come and ask me a question, I'm going to answer it, right? So unless it's like dodgy, I'm going to answer the question. And so I do it in layers, right? So one thing that you'll learn is that yes, you can like take a snap of this and challenge yourself to be like, okay, I want you to do a reading, and I just want you to put a timer on the phone, and you have 90 seconds to answer that question. Don't bring out 37 cards, because you'll just like give yourself a panic attack. But just give yourself 90 seconds and like challenge yourself. Just do it as quickly as possible. Get out of your own way of overanalyzing, and then go into that reading and see like, okay, well, I've answered the question in my 90 seconds, but now how does each of the card and each of the positions inform my answer? How did I get there from there? And then what can it add to that? And then do a wrap up of it there. So you've done the time thing, you've challenged yourself, then you're going into the details, and then you're like, oh, now I have added information. How am I going to wrap it all together?
Right.
The more you can practice something like that, the better off as a reader you're going to be. We used to call them down and dirties at Reader Studio. We used to do them all the time for each other. So we just be sitting there and do down and dirty readings, but it's a good way of like getting out of your own way. So how do you
that is good. I'm getting back into painting and drawing and stuff like that. And one of the exercises is to set a timer for 3 minutes and do a painting in 3 minutes, and on a big piece of paper. You just get a scrap piece of paper, and you just like set your timer for 3 minutes, and you try to do like this whole painting in 3 minutes. And it really like, it gets you out of your head. Your lines aren't all tight. You're just like moving, and it actually allows you to like get into a more intuitive space. When you have all the time in the world to do a painting, you overthink every single little thing, right? And you stress about it. And so, yeah, it's the same thing with tarot. It's like, can you read a card in 1 minute, 2 minutes, or whatever? It's a really interesting exercise. Thanks for sharing your process of reading. I'm always curious of how other readers do it, because I think we all do it like a little bit differently. Like I love to use a 9-card spread. There's something about that like rectangular shape that I
you
just
do
really
like the
like.
little tableau kind of thing?
Yeah. Yeah, I just like that shape. I hate like the Celtic cross shape or like any other shape. I just don't like it. I don't like it. I need the square or the rectangle. And so I use the same spread, but I'll change up some of the positions a bit. And then depending on what someone's questions are, I'll alter the spread a little bit to suit the specific needs of the person. And I like to turn cards over one at a time and I can see the value in turning them all over at once, because then you get a snapshot. Because one thing that's frustrating about turning the cards over one at a time is you don't get to see that card in the greater context of the other cards until the end, right? But I still like doing it that way, because it's almost like a little bit of a striptease. It's like a slow reveal. It's like one card at a time.
Yeah, I wonder if there's like, because every time you see, well, many times you see tarot readers in media, and let's be honest, historically it hasn't been great, but there have been some amazing ones recently. They do one at a time. And I think that is like, if you think about that story wise for like cinema or TV, it is more, there's that anticipation that of that, like you said, that striptease, that little tease. So I feel like that has really informed like a lot of the kind of practices. Sometimes I will do that, especially if I feel like a client is like a little in a rush, like, or a client is like really in a where they just like, give me the answer. It's like, I'm actually going to get you to slow down and like listen to maybe like be receiving. But I do like having it. I'm also, the impatient Gemini who just wants to know the fucking answer too. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it and kind of go from there. But that is so cool that we're so different in that way. Can I ask a follow-up question for you?
Yeah.
Did you learn, and I'm sure I know this about you. First of all, also apologize if you can hear noises. That's my dash hound at my feet deciding.
Yeah, I was wondering, I'm like, what is she doing? Like
moving
her feet around?
No, it's Apollo. Anytime I record, anytime I'm on a meeting, this dog is like, he'll either want to jump up on my lap and then jump down, or he'll start chewing something loudly at my feet. So I apologize. He's like, I'm here, everybody. Little drama queen.
At least he's not like a cat and he can't jump up on your keyboard and then.
He would be up here looking at everyone, giving them the eyes. He's very cute. And so did you learn? I'm gonna probably know this, but forgive my tired brain. Did you learn to read the cards in a divinatory way? Or did you
No, not really. I think that's kind of why I got into tarot. I think I was interested in reading them in that way. It wasn't really how I learned, but sort of like I kind of dabbled with it for a while and I just wasn't very good at it. Like it wasn't it wasn't for me. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Okay. So there was a question.
Okay. New Life Steve, do you ever look at the cards which have not come up in a spread? For example, if a large reading doesn't have a single card of one suit?
Depending on the context of the question. So if you had a love reading for me and no cups came up, yeah, babe, that's going to tell me something. If you had a career question for me and no wands came up, yep. If you had a reading about your home or your finances and no pentacles come up, absolutely. Or if there's like an abundance of a specific
yes, right.
So even because every card has a meaning, and I do this in my new book. I've got so like the astrology, the description, the symbols and body language, and then I talk about the general upright reading, like the divinatory upright reading, and then I go into love and relationships, career and finances, and health and wellness, and then I do exactly the same for reversed, and there's journal questions for each one. So this is a big bitch. She is like a meaty book. So every tarot card can answer every single question in the context. So the Nine of Swords can tell you just as much about your relationships as the Nine of Cups, just because it's not an emotional suit. So yeah, I will, but only if it pertains to the context of the reading or it's telling me something informative. If not, not really. Like if it's like, oh, okay, well, you have one of each and there's no sword. Okay. And also depends on how big the sword is. Like you're not going to get
exactly.
Depending. But yeah, if it seems pertinent, yes, I will.
Okay. All right, tons of questions here. My goodness.
Keep it going.
Okay, lots and lots of questions from Ailey. I'm just trying to pick the best one. Okay, here's one. Many people want actual workbooks to practice exercises to read with the systems integrated. How would you both get a newbie to learn and practice with these systems? How would you get it started?
Okay, so this is absolutely was never my intention to be on here hawking this, but like that's why I have my Tarot Readers Academy. Because if you do any, and I know that you have classes too, Kate, so like I have workbooks that you can print out and do your readings. I have a classroom where you can put your homework up, and at the end of it, like we go through it and go through the feedback together. So I have that interactive module at the Tarot's Academy with like thousands of freaking videos and things like that. And then, but in the books, there is like homework, there are exercises. And I just like, if I'm not doing it in a format where there's printables, I will just dedicate a notebook and do all the prac in a notebook and a tarot journal. And I often, in my new book, Become an Exceptional Tarot Reader, I talk about, for this, if you're anything like me, I need a notebook for every every single project I've got or every single subject I've got. So I dedicate a full notebook to working through things. What about you? How would you tackle that question, Kate?
Yeah, probably the same way, I would say. Dedicated notebooks. And yeah, I'm a big fan. Every time I go to Dollarama, I get like a bunch of blank notebooks, and then I'm always starting notebooks. I'm always like, okay, this is my meditation notebook. And then it's like, this is my Reiki notebook. This is my tarot court card notebook. I'm always like, I have like a gazillion journals where I've only like started it and I'm like 10 pages in.
You should see my desk. I have notebooks for everything, but I love pen to paper writing for a lot of stuff.
Me too.
But that's how I would recommend you do it. There's something also so beautiful about taking the time to write in something like that. Even if you just use Google Documents. I've been using Google Docs for like ever. I think they're fantastic. So even if you do that and you put a little, because if you have a Gmail address, you have a Drive. So create a little folder for yourself and then just have it like lesson 1 and then go in there. So there's lots of things that you can do, but the big thing that I really love, and I'm revamping my community to be much better, because I don't like the way that it's set up at Teachable, is doing readings with other students, and that's very encouraged with my classes, because you guys people might be more advanced or whatever it is, but they're going to understand the assignment. You know what I mean? They know when you're kind of like trying to do a challenge or trying to do a specific framework in the homework. So they're going to be really supportive of that.
Yeah. And I think people overall, like when you're learning tarot, I think that most people need to practice more. Like they need to like get out there, do those readings, whether it's live or it's written or whatever, or recorded or something, but like to just actually get out there, kind of boots on the ground, practicing, doing readings. I think that's what most people really need who are, learning tarot and wanting to get better at it.
100%. Yeah. And it took me a long time, even as a professional reader, to get over getting it wrong. Like I remember I really love to just go balls to the wall. Like if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something.
Mhm.
So after I like finished a bunch of my training with my my first like in-person teacher, and I had like a little graduation. Our last lesson was we had to bring in two strangers, like two friends, and then
Mhm.
we had to read for everybody else's friends. Like we weren't allowed to read for our own friends.
Right.
And so then she would like go around and listen, and we get feedback. And there was just something about being told by Gail, who I'm still dear friends with, and she's still reading to this day, a fucking powerhouse. There was being told like you have a knack for this, you've got a gift for this. And so then when I started to like read for other people, as much as I was shitting myself internally, I was like, you know what, I just have to learn to trust. And I would call her some days and just be like, because we're friends too, and just be like, I feel like I just did a really shitty job. Like I wasn't trusting my intuition today. And she's like, yeah, it happens to everybody. And then I went and did this fair in a town hall in Fremantle. And it was just like, I'm sure you've done these before too, where it's like a psychic fair and just like all around the edge are like readers. And I
Yeah.
was like, holy fuck, this is the big leagues, you know, like I paid for my booth. And I
Yeah.
just did readings all weekend. And I was nervous as hell, but the more I did that, and I worked out of stores and I worked out of markets, and I just did as much as I possibly could, the more I did that, the less and less that voice of like, you're going to get it wrong, or, you know, it goes away. You just need to practice.
Mhm. Yeah, that's it's almost like, you know, when people have like a phobia like of like spiders and you just need to like keep exposing yourself to, to spiders or you
That
have a
has
fear
not
of
worked for me,
heights
by
or
the way.
something.
I don't like them. I feel like I have the reasons to. Everyone, like literally everybody I ever meet is always, I've always wanted to go to Australia, but I don't want to go because there's two things. They usually say because of the flight, and I get that. I've done that so
Yeah,
many times. I hate
and
it
spiders.
so much. And spiders. I'm like, there are spiders here, guys. Like, they're everywhere.
Yeah, but in Australia there's spiders that are like this big.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're friendly-ish. Just don't, like, if you're going to be in Sydney, in like the CBD or downtown Melbourne, I'd say, like, for me, Melbourne is much better. And it's not because I'm from there. It's just like I love the culture there so much. But Sydney is beautiful with the harbour and all that shit. But I love Melbourne. It's where most of my family is. If you're in downtown Melbourne looking at the cool little alleyways with all the street art and the coffee and going to like the Theosophical Society and all that, you're not going to see them. It's if you're in like the
Yeah,
suburbs
sure.
or whatever, you know, like that's when you're really going to see them a lot. So you'll be
Well,
fine.
I know someone who had family that were living in Australia and they wanted her to come visit, and she had a huge spider phobia. And so she put it off for years and years. And then finally she thought, this is stupid. I've got to get over this. So she spent like a year doing like self-hypnosis and like cognitive behavioral therapy. So like stuff to like get over this phobia. And so she got to the point where it wasn't like this huge massive thing. So she's like, okay, I can do this. I can go to Australia. So she gets there and she was there for like a month or something. And for the first like 2-3 weeks, didn't see any spiders. Like, and then she went to visit some family that lived out kind of in the countryside. They lived like in a more rural place. And they were giving her a tour of their house and they were taking her room to room. And then the guy like walked into this room and then he just immediately walked out and shut the door and said, let's go over here. And she was like, what's up? Like, and then she's like, he left and everyone was kind of trying to distract her and talking. And she just hears this whack, whack, whack. And anyways, apparently it was a spider that was like the size of a dinner plate. And it was
Probably
just like
a huntsman.
on the wall.
Yeah, a huntsman. I've had them in my bed, my mailbox, my microwave door, my
like the big ones? Like the dinner plate ones?
Oh, yeah.
In your bed?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. One of them, this was, all right, quick sidebar. One of them, I used to live in this house with my girlfriend, really dear friend of mine, was on Disney Street. What a fucking name for a house. She's the bomb. I still love her back home. And we had fruit trees. And they love fruit trees because fruit trees bring all the bugs.
Mm-hmm.
And she would leave the freaking windows open and they would get in, right? So one day I woke up and I was like, there is a spider with a missing leg on the microwave door. Like literally getting up to get coffee before I went to work. It was like this big. Look up huntsman's. And the thing is like They are genuinely harmless. If they bite you, you're going to get like an irritation, but they are harmless. They're not poisonous. They're just scary, and they will react to like movement because they're spiders, right? But they're generally harmless. And so I saw this and I was like, can you please come and get them? Because she would come, she was a environmental scientist and a real big, like, I'm a softie, she's a softie. I'm like, if it comes into this house, it wants to be reincarnated to a higher life form. It's going to die, especially spiders and cockroaches, like anything like that. But she wants to catch and release. So her job was to release them. She's like, I'll go catch and release it. Anyway, one of her cats found it and started playing with it. And we lost track of it. And I was like, great. Now it's going to rock up in bed. And she's like, no, it's not. It's not going to go in bed. They don't go in bed. She sat down on her bed and I'm standing in the doorway talking to her. And that fucking thing was 2 fucking centimeters next to her leg in her bed. And I was like, what were you saying? Nearly look that way. And then she's like, yeah. So like, but that's a horror story. But that, again, she just picked it up and took it outside. Like it was no problem. Yeah, I'm trying to get better with spiders. I just don't like the big fat black ones. Like we have like little jumping spiders and daddy long legs. I love them. They're everywhere, but I don't kill those anymore. But yeah, I'm
trying to be a better person and not squish spiders. And I get like the big ones in my basement that are like, you know, pretty big. And sometimes I'm able to put them in a jar and take them outside. And other times I'm just like, you know what? I just can't. I'm just gonna have to kill this spider.
I can't even get anywhere near them to do that, mate. Like I'm like, fuck that. Like that is way too scary for me. I get someone else to come and get them.
No. Okay, what do you think of this? Let's take one more question and then let's pull cards for people. Does that sound fun?
I like this last one. Can we do this one about, do you honestly believe that people who are not psychic or intuitive can read? That one?
Yeah, that's the one I was gonna pick.
Yeah. Yes. Do you honestly believe people who are not psychic or intuitive can read tarot like psychics or intuitives? Absolutely. So if you, so remembering that there are more than one system of tarot. So you might read the Marseille, and that's very numerology based. It doesn't have as many pictures on the cards. You might read the Thoth or the Toth, depending on how you pronounce it, which has its own system as well. I read the Rider-Waite-Smith. And if you read Arthur Waite's book, he writes the meanings in a divinatory spiritual way. So if you don't have any psychic like sight, or you don't feel like as if your intuition is very high, by the way, intuition is a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it gets. So don't think like you need to be like out the gate, like you're really, really psychic and intuitive. But the more you trust it, you acknowledge it, you give it feedback, it's just like going to the gym. But if you read your divinatory meanings, and not every book has them now, because there's a lot of books about reading it with symbols or intuitively or whatever it may be. And a lot of the intuitive tarot is Gestalt tarot, by the way. It's not really intuitive tarot. It's like, what does the symbol inform you? It's more that Gestalt way, but whatever, that's splitting hairs. So if you do that and you learn the meanings of the cards, which is why I'm a real fan of learning the meanings of the cards, because those are always going to be the bones for me. That's the skeleton, that's the foundation. Then you can absolutely bring that up, because it's like if you read the Lenormand, it's like every one of those cards in that system that is a divination system. It's going to tell you, it's going to answer that question. So absolutely, the fact that I may get, well, I do, but like in a reading, I might get information in my mind's eye. I might see things straight away. I might get information from my guides. I might pick up on something extra. That's just an extra layer of information that I've honed over many years. But it doesn't mean that someone who doesn't have that won't get to the same answer for that client, or isn't a proficient and amazing tarot reader themselves. So do you want to add anything on that one, Kate?
Yeah. And I think, you can read the tarot. The tarot is a system in and of itself. You don't need to be psychic. You don't need to be intuitive in order to read it. You don't need to be interested in developing your intuition or psychic abilities in order to do a really good, informative tarot reading for someone. I think you can choose to weave in, like, I think that the tarot provides this wonderful It's a wonderful tool for accessing intuition if you want to use it that way, but you don't have to use it that way at all. But if you do start to weave in a little bit of intuition, it is like icing on the cake. I think that's what makes the readings feel magical. Like I've had readings from people who did not, incorporate any intuition or psychic stuff into the reading. And to me, those readings are still helpful.
Oh, yeah.
They're still great, but they kind of lack a little something. Like there's just something missing. Like I just want that little mystical element to the reading. And so I feel like readings that have a little bit of intuition woven in, even if it's just like a little smidge, just feels juicier to me. It just feels more alive.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, like, just a couple of things on that before we switch off on. Also remembering too that I truly believe, truly to my bones, I've had so many experiences. If my dad, who is like in his late 70s, he's a boomer, he's English, right? If he can tell me about some otherworldly experiences he's had in some places in London growing up, like the things that I've experienced, like there is just more out there, like there just is. But remembering we don't all process intuitive and psychic information the same. And that's another issue. Like you might read a lot of books about psychic intuition or opening your clairvoyance. Not everyone can see in their mind's eye. Not everyone can see pictures. Not everyone can hear. Like I didn't realize that. Like there's actually like a brain thing, like that you just might not be able to. It's just not how you work. So just because you can't maybe see in your mind's eye doesn't mean that your other senses, your other clairs won't give you the same information if you train them than the sight would. So don't let that be a deterrent to building your intuitive skills, because we all have body intuition. We all have body psychic abilities. Yes, you might call that survival instinct. Yes, you might call that tapping into our ancestral DNA because we were naked monkeys in caves, apes in caves one day, like back. Doesn't matter what you call it, it's still there. So even if you just start with your body and go from there, your other senses will open up. So don't let that, like, oh, I can't see, I'm not psychic, be your shutting yourself down from that.
Right. Okay. I agree. I concur. Okay, so before we dive into pulling cards for people, is there a specific time that you need to leave by, just so I can no? Okay.
I'm all yours, baby.
Woo, really? Oh my God. Okay. Because I was thinking we go for an hour, but I feel like 15 minutes of readings isn't going to be enough for people.
Yeah,
so
no,
like,
I can talk a little bit longer.
Okay, so like quarter after.
Yeah, let's do it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Okay, so anyone here who's watching who wants us to pull a card for you, just let us know in the comments. You can ask a specific question. You can opt for just a general card pull, whatever floats your boat. And how I thought we would do it, Ethony, is we could take turns reading for people. So you could choose one person, I'll choose the next person.
Sounds
Does that
good.
sound fun? Okay. Do you want me to go first or do you want to go
You
first?
can go first. This is your show, baby cakes.
All right. Okay, so this is for Freya. I would love to know anything about my career at the moment. Okay, so I'm going to be using the Modern Witch Tarot for readings today. And I've been shuffling my deck this whole time that we've been talking. I've been shuffling. Okay, so you'd like to know something about your career at the moment. Okay, so Freya, the card for you is... Ooh, Two of Pentacles.
Ooh.
Okay. So I'm just waiting for my camera to focus. I don't think it's going to.
I think it's pretty good there.
Good. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the closer it goes to your face, the better it is. It's like
Yes. Okay, Two of Pentacles. So what I'm getting from Two of Pentacles is all about balancing things, juggling multiple things, multitasking. So when you're asking about your career, And this is interesting because I don't know what your career is, and I don't know where you are in your career, if you're wanting a change, if you're wanting more opportunities, if you're wanting to switch careers, or what's going on. But the Two of Pentacles is saying that you may be required to juggle a couple of things at once, like maybe learning something, like doing some training while also taking care of some sort of project or something else. Like there's two or more things that you're going to have to pour your attention and energy into. And it's a balancing act as well. You may even feel a little bit overwhelmed right now in your career, like there's a lot on your plate, a lot of things to take care of. The thing that's going to help you in your career, regardless of where you are right now, is getting into the flow. So the reason I say that is there is an infinity symbol on this card. And when I trace that infinity symbol with my fingertip, it's this like looping, it's this like going out and around, back to the center, out and around. And it's constantly moving, constantly flowing. And it makes me think of like when you're just in the flow, like when you're working on a project and you're just like in the flow, and it feels like ideas are coming to you at the right time. You're able to be as productive as you need to be. And it doesn't feel exhausting because you're in the flow. You're like tapped into this energy. And there's certain things that can help you get into a flow state. And there's certain things that stop you from getting into a flow state. And I think everyone's a little bit different. So that might be something to ask yourself and just observe, like notice the times in your work where you've been in that flow state, where it feels like it's just flowing and it feels like you're like tapped into your zone of genius when you're in that flow state and you feel kind of unstoppable. So just noticing when in your career or when in your work you felt that way and what has helped you get there and what kind of stops you from getting there, and just noticing that, because that is a big part of your success in your work. Yeah. So thank you, Freya, for your question. I hope that was informative. I hope that was helpful. Okay, let me know who you want to read for.
I'm just going to do the next person down, which is Brittany.
Okay. Yes.
Guidance for me right now. So I'm going to be reading from my Cosmic Wisdom Tarot.
Oh, I love that deck. That's been my go-to deck for the last year and a bit since it came out, actually.
And the love affair, I mean, every single one of my decks I have a different kind of love affair with. But this deck, I mean, James, who I worked with, has just finished working with Critical Role, who I'm a massive fan of. Mm-hmm. He just did the art for their 10-year anniversary tarot deck. Like, this is a top-notch artist I worked with. Like, he is the best. So, like, working with him was incredible, and I'm really fucking proud of this deck. So, but getting back to Brittany, guidance for you right now. I'm going to do a quick 2 card. I'm going to do start and stop. Okay, you need to start accepting help and getting really real about your resources. So this is the Five of Pentacles is a difficult card. It's a card of feeling like you're being left out in the cold, or you're not getting access to the things that you need. This for me is very much that resources, especially physical resources. So it could be that you feel as if you're not getting the physical support at home, or you don't have the required financial means to get something. But this is accepting help and starting to look outside the box, whether this is doing a big Google search for, like, whether it's, you're looking for grants or looking for opportunities for free resources in your area, just getting really smart about community. The other thing with the Five of Pentacles is this is often seen as a church. Here we have this was a very ornate door, and I wanted this to be an extremely ornate door because it's like the riches are seen to be behind the door, right? They're being locked out of this place that seemingly is rich. And so this is about those community, those in the institution, that's what I was looking for, the institutional support, because when we link this back to the 5, which is the Hierophant, is those institutions, so church, education, all those big things that come up with institutions in our modern world. So really going and getting access to them. So if there's a community, something outreach program, or whatever it may be, start to think outside the box and accept the fact that no one ever does anything on their own. No one ever does anything on their own. So it's okay to accept the help and to get really real about where you're at. Don't stick your head in the sand. Start. And this is the 7 of Cups. And this was saying about start thinking outside the box. This is really for you looking at the ideas you have, the things you want to do, and really kind of putting a time frame around them. I don't know why I got that for you, but I did. Get a time frame around them, because some things are going to be long term. And if they're long term and there's things that you can't necessarily do about it right now, you need to put a pin in it and come back. Because you need to look at what is immediate, what is really important right now. I'm getting like, come back to the things that are 1 to 3 months of importance, and then 3 to 5 months of importance. Everything else you need to stick a pin in it, put a note in your calendar or whatever it may be, and come back to it, because these are distractions. You can't let things distract you from getting your shit done right now. I saw the most amazing quote this week on Instagram, and I feel like this is for everyone, but especially for you. Your goals and what you want to achieve are not your mood, right? You are not, when you're in a mood, like sometimes I'm like, I don't want to do my work today. I don't want to do the work today. You know, like that always comes into my head. I'm not my mood. So if I'm tired and I'm like, I don't want to do things I have to do, I have to keep reminding myself, I am not my mood. My goals are not my mood. My business, my kids, like all those responsibilities are not my mood. I have to get up, put my Wonder Woman underoos on, and get that shit done. So yeah, come back to what's really important for the next few months, accept the help, and start looking outside the box for resources, especially institutional resources that you can accept, and just accept it, accept the help.
Nice. I love it. Okay. I'm going to do a reading for, okay. So Patsy is the next in line. Maybe Ethany can do Patsy after me, because I want to skip it to go to Root Jack, because I like this question. Okay, please pull a card for me about how to deal with in-law family members.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Okay, so the card I have for you is, okay,
Whoa.
the Magician reversed. I didn't even know I had reverse cards in this deck. Okay, so we have the Magician.
Did you read reverses?
What's that?
You read reversals?
I didn't for the longest time, and I'm starting to now. I kind of started a year or so ago. So some of my decks I've reversed some of them, and other ones I read upright.
Okay.
So surprise reversal. Okay. So the Magician reverse. All right. Okay. So the Magician upright, I always have to kind of look at the upright first. The Magician upright is about being really proactive and like taking action. The Magician reversed is kind of saying, step back a little bit. Less is more. There's nothing specific necessarily to do in order to deal with the in-law family members. And I'm guessing maybe they're annoying. There's something about the Magician. The Magician reversed is saying, actually withdraw your energy, because the Magician upright is saying, be proactive, take action, really use your energy. The Magician reversed is saying there's power in withdrawing your energy from a situation. Don't give something your energy. The Magician is all about working with energy. It's about, and I'll just show you the upright. Look at her stance. She has the one arm that's holding the wand, which is up, and then the other the hand is pointing down. And it's about kind of taking that energy from above and bringing it down into the world to manifest something, to make something happen. And reversed, it's the opposite. So it's almost like a grounding symbol of like the hand with the wand pointed towards the earth, like drawing that grounding earth energy up. So first piece of advice, ground your energy, ground yourself before, during, after you're around your in-laws, because there's something about them that might be a little ungrounding. It might kind of knock you off your center. They might get on your nerves or whatever. So grounding yourself is the most practical thing you can do that's going to help you withstand their annoyingness much better. So that's the first thing. And don't give this situation a ton of your energy. So don't spend a lot of time thinking about how much they drive you crazy. Just don't give it the energy. See if you can kind of withdraw your energy. You know, when you're around them, be present, be grounded, but don't try to change them. Don't try to manipulate the situation. Just don't give if they create a lot of drama, just do whatever you can to not give it a ton of your energy, and that's going to make dealing with them a lot easier. Um, and I don't know what your in-laws are like or anything like that. So I'm just going to use an example of like being with people who are maybe kind of manipulative. They want you to invest your energy so they can kind of manipulate it. So if you just kind of ground your energy, but don't give energy to the drama and all that kind of stuff, you're going to be much better off. That's how I read The Magician upside down. Yeah.
Oh, gotta love in-laws. Love family. Can't live with them, can't bury them in the back garden. I joke. I'm watching too much Wednesday. Okay, so Patsy, I love a card reading about my new business. All right. I'm going to do the same thing because I like contextual stuff that's just, oh, okay. So this is a big time of review for you. So your start is the 10 of Cups. You need to start chasing what is emotionally fulfilling you and really what you can give back to the people you're serving. So a big part of this is make it less about you and more about them. So anytime you start to get a little stuck or you're feeling as though the wheels aren't, you're like spinning your wheels and you're not getting clients in or whatever it may be, take the focus off you and always put it back on the people you're serving. The more the messages, the more storytelling you can do on that, the more you can emotionally meet people there, the better off you're going to be and the more things are going to flow through. You need to trust that what you're doing is going to work. And the 10s are about consistency. They're not like the 1s or 2s where we're right at the beginning. It's like you need to do something and give it a good amount of time to see results. There's no point in just being emotionally flippant, especially because we got the Cups, and shifting things so quickly that you're like, oh, well, it was just about to get traction, right? You were just about to hit. Yeah, I always see that in my mind's eye, like a little cave explorer, the cartoon, and he's just about to like hit gold if he just kept digging a little bit more, but he turned around and left. It's like just like that, you're about to hit the gold. So come back to your clients, come back to who you're serving, chase what is like it feels good emotionally to you in that space. Like you need to like meet it there, and also make sure you're doing things where it's consistent and you're allowing time for things to see some results. Yeah, sorry about the croaky voice, everyone. I'm getting over a nasty summer cold flu thing. And then start the Hermit. This is Virgo. Do not get into the thing of like going, everything needs to be perfect. Done is better than perfect. 90% is better than 100% because there's no such thing as 100%. This is really going into like, if you're seeing any resistance or if you're seeing anything where you're getting stuck, this is a chance for you to go into that hermit space and being like, okay, is there someone who's done something similar? Don't copy other people, but is there someone that I admire who's done something similar that has climbed the mountain and shown the way for other people? And how have they inspired me? Like, how can I use that for my situation to help me get through? One of the things I did a lot when I started my business online, when I moved here and I decided to go all in on myself, was I watched a lot of people's YouTube channels, not on tarot. I didn't even really know about the tarot community on YouTube. I would have been on here a lot sooner, but more like on business and heart-centered businesses and how to be spiritual and but be successful and just inspiring stories, especially with women in them. And so you can look at those blueprints and be like that. You don't need to always blaze the path forward. There are plans, there are practices, there are people who've done it before. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. And the Hermit is like anytime you feel like you need to reinvent the wheel because you want to do it your way, and you will do it your way anyway, you can't help not to because you're your own secret sauce. But just like go to the place of like simplicity, something you can do consistently, because Virgos are very consistent, but don't get caught up in being perfect. So those are your cards for your business.
Nice. Those are good cards to get. And I'm a Virgo and I am very consistent. So that is very on the money.
I have a Virgo rising, and it's the only reason why I get anything finished.
What's your sun sign?
Gemini, and then my moon is Pisces, which is where all the psychic stuff comes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm a Virgo rising, and I have so much mercurial energy in my chart. It's bonkers. Yeah. And my big three are mutable or mutable signs. So I'm constantly moving. So yeah, I find it really helps. But yeah, go after it, babe.
I have so much Libra in my chart. So much Libra. Aww. It's crazy. Okay, so
you're loyal and consistent, and you love your relationships. You hold them like really, really, really close. You're very protective of them. Yeah,
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay, there is one question that I was really drawn to when I was scrolling down the list. Oh, okay. This is a good one. I don't know if this is
like, we are all like so tired, babe.
Address pending. Okay, everyone seems to be going through burnout this week. What's going on? Yeah, I have been going through a bit of burnout this week, so I can relate. So I'm curious about this. So this is kind of like a reading for the collective. Like, what's going on with the burnout? Okay. All right. So the card I'm going to pick here is 7 of Pentacles. Ooh. All right. Okay. So 7 of Pentacles is all about patience and nurturing. And, we see looking at it like she's kind of disappointed in it. She's like, I want it to grow more or do something. It's just sitting there, not doing anything. And I think that could be part of why some of us are feeling burnt out, is we're putting energy into things and we're not seeing results. We're not seeing the big, sexy results that we would like to see. So that's part of it. And there's also something about when you're nurturing something, you're giving, and there's like an emotional aspect to it, even though I know 7, there is an emotional aspect to nurturing something, to caring for something, to tending to something. You're tending to something, and it feels like it's growing burnout for a lot of us this week. Is we're not seeing the big changes and we're not getting the feedback. And it's like when you start working out and you look in the mirror every day and you're like, I look the same, and then I look the same, and it's like you start to find yourself getting kind of burnt out and unmotivated. So I think that that's a part of it. The advice or the like little nugget of wisdom or helpfulness that I get, practice patience right now, and especially patience with yourself. If you're feeling burnt out and run down, be patient with yourself and maybe like lower your expectations of yourself, be a little more realistic. Like, everything in the physical realm, or most things in the physical realm, can take a long time. Things can move slowly. Progress can happen overnight. It can fall apart quickly. Things can be created quickly, yes. But most things are slow. Most things take time. And there's always this background thing of like nurturing, taking care of things, tending to things, being patient. That is always in the background that happen. Don't just happen on their own. There's a context, there's a background that's supporting that. So what am I saying? I guess be patient. Be patient with yourself, be gentle with yourself, and nurturing yourself as much as you can. And that's going to alleviate some of those burnout symptoms, I think.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things also I love about that card, if you don't mind me adding like a little nugget, is that if you look at plants, you don't always see that progress either. So much is happening underground in the root systems. Sevens in tarot are about expansion. This is also a card of audit, right? So it's like you need to, like, if you're focusing all your time and energy on like what you're not getting, the results you're not getting, then you're not spending time in gratitude and realizing what you do have. So let the roots do the work, and then shift your perspective from the harvest, which is coming. It's initially coming.
Totally. Yeah.
I just entered the chat, so I'm like answering some questions for those of you like, what is she doing? All right. I wasn't connected before, so I got on there.
Okay. Cool.
What have we got here? I'm booked to do cat sitting in Budapest. Can someone like book?
Yeah, I know, right? Cat sitting specifically.
And we'll also come and do tarot readings. So like someone set that up so we can go and Kiki in Budapest, okay? Is there anything I need to think about getting prepared for it? Well, hopefully you're not allergic to cats and that cat is not an asshole. I love all animals, by the way. I do like cats. I'm pretty allergic to them, but I do like them. I cat sit for my neighbors all the time. All right, let's see. What to do a cat sit? Oh, everything is going to be fine. Okay, so I hope you're getting paid. This is the one thing that came up for you. This is probably for some. If this is for a friend, this the Three of Cups. This is just saying like you're going to be fine. You're going to have a great that are happening around that time that you get to enjoy. I don't know if you've ever been before, but maybe have a look at that. And if you're in Europe, maybe you can like take someone with you. It's still like completely freaks me out in a good way about how close everything is in Europe. Like I'm from Australia where everything is like a million miles away, and even here right in Canada, like if I went to go see Kate, we're in the same province, but if I went to go see her, it would take like 3 hours by the time I got to the ferry, then on the ferry, and to come and see that point. So Three of Cups is saying enjoy your time and enjoy the food as well and the gatherings there. But I'm really going to say here, you got the Ace of Pentacles as your like the other the that you're being compensated, whether that is a monetary compensation or just something, you know, like not everyone is going to get paid for a situation like that. But if not, like, okay, have they stocked the place with food for you? Have they paid for your transportation to go there? Make sure it's a fair exchange. If you have to do anything that is above and beyond, like make sure that you're taking notes for that to get for you. And there's some really fun like things that are going to be happening with that Three of Cups. Just make sure you're not like to be taken advantage of. And I say that lightly because it's only the Ace, but don't you know, like don't go in there and like do a deep clean of their whole house. You know what I mean? Like just like do what you're there to do, be respectful, enjoy your time, and make sure you're getting compensated.
Okay. All right. So I just realized, Ethony, I intended to ask you all about your Tarot Summer School course, and I totally didn't. We didn't even talk about Tarot Summer School. So let's do that now. So okay. So Ethony does something amazing. I know you don't do it every single summer, but you've done it many summers. And you do Tarot Summer School, which is 12 different tarot teachers. We all come together. We each create our own course on a different topic, and you can get a season's pass and get all the courses, which is a great deal. Or you can just pick the courses that really speak to you and just do courses individually. So I did a course called Tarot Reading for Rebels, and Ethany, your course is going live, I think, next week, right?
Yes, Monday.
Monday, okay. And it's called Tarot Integration, Shadow and Play. And I'm really excited for your course because I love shadow work, but I also love being playful with the tarot cards. So can you tell us a little bit about what your course is about?
Yeah, so I love shadow work as well. It's a topic that I've spoken on at many different conferences and things like that. I really enjoy it. I think my background in HR and studying counseling and psychology and doing a lot of relationship work, both professionally and then with tarot readings, I found that shadow work can be extremely helpful. But along my journey with shadow work, first of all, I think it can be very romanticized in the woo-woo community, especially those of you who are like me and really like dig the dark academia aesthetic. I've often said this, like, I'm a Gemini, so half of me is Care Bear and half of me is Morticia Adams, and like that's totally like my vibe. And the thing with that is that we forget that yes, the tarot can be serious, yes, occult studies or mystic studies can be serious, but there is a whole other side of us that needs healing as well, and that's the play, the inner child, the joy, the levity part of life. And I've been very lucky. I grew up in a very playful household. My dad was always very silly. We would skip down the aisles at the grocery stores. He would like go in and put hats on his head and like act silly. So it was a very silly, fun household, and that was so great. So what I wanted to do was really remind people that shadow work is also self-love work. Because if you do self-love work, you're going to come across some of the stuff that comes up in shadow work. And if you do shadow work, you're going to come up across some of the stuff in self-love work. So integration tarot is the marriage of those two things. Now, I started doing this course and then it was like, oh boy, like I wholly and completely overdid it. But I go into the aspects of the cards and what they mean in both of those things. But there's a lot of what I really, really love about it is learning how to actually sit with those emotions and how to work with them and how to meet them in a really safe space so that you're not opening up a wound or opening up a big energy and then just going, well, that's great. And then you walk away and you're like, why am I like an emotional wreck? So this is really about how to work with both sides of that and both sides of yourself in order to have that holistic approach. And it's for yourself, like you can do the readings and all the work for yourself, which I highly recommend. And then if you're a professional, you can also, do some of this as well for your clients.
Nice. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, there's lots of like I do some art therapy stuff. Like there's meditations and like a ton of content. So you're going to get a lot of hopefully a lot out of it. And yeah, it's really opened up a lot of things for myself as I've been working on this for like 3 years as a concept because it's kind of been in the soup. And so now it's finally ready.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, I'm excited for it. Yeah. So that goes live tomorrow or Monday.
Yeah.
But you can sign up now. So I'm going to put the link to your course. Actually, I'll put it in the chat. It's also going to be below this video in the little info box below the video, but I'll also put the link to your upcoming course in the chat as well. Okay. There it is. Whoops. Okay. I guess I should say Ethony's course so people know what it is.
You can put yours in there.
What's this random link?
Okay. Yeah. So, it's really fun. Like, I'm a big believer in there's no such thing as competition in our field. I think there is only collaboration when you're with the right people. And so when I meet someone who is really doing their thing and I feel as like just rad, I like sharing those sorts of things. So I like doing, this is basically a virtual conference because it came about because I got pregnant the first year I was supposed to go to Reader's Studio in New York when I moved here, and I had to cancel because I was really sick. So I was like, well, I can't be the only person who can't geographically get to these events. And this is, you get lifetime access to all of the courses. So you can go back and do them over and over again. And there's the community. So it was really a way to be like, it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what you did, as long as you love me. You know what I mean? As you can go back and kind of do those courses on your own time and rewatch everything and really take it in. From the comfort of your pajamas or your swimsuit if it's summer.
Yeah. Yeah, I always do my tarot courses in my swimsuit. No.
Yeah, always. Come on now. Polka dot bikini ever.
I actually do have a polka dot bikini.
Why do I? Mine's a Minnie Mouse one that I got from, I don't know, Disneyland like a million years ago. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's cute.
Yeah, it's really cute. It's got little frills on the little, it's very cute.
Mine does too. Mine is like red and white.
Mine is red and white as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine's like red with white polka dots. There's frilliness, and then there's like little tie things. But then the top is just black.
Oh my gosh, it would be so funny if we had like pretty much, I'm going to send you a photo because this is.
Yes, I want to see it. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on here with me, Ethony, for chatting about tarot, telling us about your new course, and for doing readings with me. It was so much fun. And now I want to pick your brain about book writing and publishing because I have a book that I want to write and get published. I have questions for you. Okay, good. I'll reach out to you because I really want to pick your brain on this because you've done lots of books and stuff.
Yeah. Anytime. Love you to pieces. Oh my gosh, you can ask anytime.
Okay, awesome. Okay, and I hope I get to see you in person soon too.
Yes, when I come over to the island, I've got to go through Nanaimo anyway, so I will hit you up. I'm going to be at, this month there's not so much travel. I've just got a lot of deadlines, but next month I'm going to be in New York. If anyone's in New York, I'm going to be at Amityville Apothecary for their Samhain alchemical day. It's going to be so fun. I'm going to be doing readings there. We're going to be doing some paranormal investigation. I'm going to be teaching mediumship and tarot, along with there's 3 other incredible teachers. We do a feast at night. Like it's going to be, and Amityville Apothecary does an incredible job. So if you can't find the information, just reach out to me, support@ethony.com, and I'll show you. If you're in New York, come and say hi. And then I might be going to Australia for another Samhain event. But when I'm back in November, I will come and see you, and we'll hang out.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. I'm going to put all your links, all your website, your Instagram, your Facebook, your TikTok, all that stuff. I'm going to put it just below this video if people are interested and want to check it out. So thank you everyone for hanging out with us. And until next time, happy tarot reading, everyone. Okay. Bye.